crafters. I hope wherever you are in the world that you are having a lovely day today. It is just a beautiful day here in Texas, and I am so thankful that you are here to craft with me today. So, if we have not met, my name is Carrie Giletto, and I am one of Heartfelt Creations online instructors. And today we're going to look at an idea that I've kind of been tossing around for a couple weeks, and I turned it into a project, and I'm excited to share it with you. So let's go ahead and change our camera view and see what we're going to do today. All right, so here is it's a little Christmas camper scene. It's a happy camper Christmas scene card, and I wanted to show you some of the techniques that I used in this. But before we get to that, I want to show you the different sets that we're going to use. I think I've shared with you before that I really enjoy combining multiple sets when I make a project. And I believe in this card, I used up to 5 different collections. So let me go ahead and share with you some of those pieces. Okay, so one of them, here we are, is the Christmas poinsettia and holly. As of this morning, these two and the mold to go with them are still available. For our project today, we're going to need to stamp one of each of these and one of each of these. And I used vermilion and carnation red and the sunflower. Is that what it's called? Yes. I always call that sunset. It's sunflower to color up my poinsettias. So that's I'm not going to demonstrate all of that today, but there's several videos where you can go back and see how we construct the poinsettias if you have not watched one of those. But that is what you're going to need for this project. And then for my leaves, these look like I've stamped them in black. I also stamped some of them in the emerald green, and I colored them up with the emerald green and the vivid chartreuse. Okay, so that is the Christmas poinsettia and holly. Now, we're also going to use this combination, which is the Glow of Christmas, and this comes from the Christmas Candlelight. And the piece that we need from here is this little swag of greenery and the little holly swag there. And however you stamp your leaves for your poinsettias, I would stamp and color that the same way. Now, in my sample here, I used my greeting from this set, but for today's project, I'm not going to do that, but you could really use any Christmas greeting that you have, you can use. And so this one has Happy Holiday Seasons Greeting and Merry Christmas. There's lots of other Christmas sets that have Christmas greetings, so you can choose whichever one that you like. Now, from our country winterscapes. Now, this is the one set that I forgot to check to see if it's still in stock. So far, all of the others have been in stock as of this morning. But this one, we're going to use the little piles of snow. And then we also use these little gifts right here. And then if you want to, you could use this snowman. Now, I didn't use the snowman on my card, but that is an alternate idea, which I will show you when we get going if you want to use the snowman. And you would just need one of each of those. Now, of course, one of our main dies is our Happy Camper stamp and die. And like I said, this is still available as of today. And the one that gets us to the main idea that I had for you today, this one is called the Frolicking Snowman and Spruce die set. Now, the stamps have not been available for quite a while, but the die set is still available. And I want you to kind of get to thinking as things start to sell out at Heartfelt Creation and you look through that warehouse clearance, I want you to kind of think of how you can use these things. Even if you don't have the stamps, we can still make some beautiful spruce trees. So that's kind of what I wanted to show you today. So here are the trees if you did happen to have the stamp. So these are just stamped and dyed and colored up like we normally do. But like I said, the stamp is no longer available. So I wanted real quick here. This one, I die cut each one of them one time, and then this one a second time, the medium size. And I die cut those in two different ways. One way was just out of some solid green paper. And then I also went to the paper pads, and I just found a green patterned paper. This particular one, I believe, comes from, let me double check, I can't remember, the Festive Poinsettia collection. But when I made my original, it came from the Classic Petunia collection. So on this card, this green is from the Classic Petunia collection. So really, if you're like me, you just kind of go through your scraps and you find a green that you've used before, and that will work fine. All right, so these are some great spruce trees that can be used in lots of different ways and in combination with lots of different collections. So I'm going to come in with my emerald green, and I'm just going to swipe the edges of all these trees, just to put a little more definition out there. And if you wanted to, you can just kind of pop along. And I'm going to do that to all three of these. Now, you may have noticed with my patterned paper, I did not cut out the second medium tree, and I will show you why in a moment. Whoops. There we go. All right, and this little guy. All right. So that makes us done with that. The next thing we're going to do for these is we're going to go ahead and layer them up. Now, when I layer them up, I'm going to offset it just a little bit so that you can see that dark green back behind it. And let me check real quick just to make sure that I can see your comments. For some reason, I haven't had it come up. I'm just going to refresh my page. Ah, there it is. Okay, great. All right. Oh, hello, Janet and Christy and Lorna. Carolyn, there you go. I can see your comments now. Hello, good afternoon to everybody. So now that we have our trees like this, we're just going to go ahead and layer them up. Now, I'm just going to use my glue today. But if you wanted to, you could use foam tape and lift this up. But I am going to offset that just a little bit so that you see that green behind it. All right, and I'm going to do this with all three of these trees. I'm only applying my glue just right up the middle. That way we kind of get a little bit of curl and movement in those leaves. And then this one. All right, now we're going to go ahead and set our spruce trees aside. We're going to turn these into some snowy spruce trees when we're done. But we can go ahead and set these aside. So the next thing we're going to do is stamp out our camper. And I just dropped something. I hope it's not something I need. Okay, there we go. Now, I don't usually do this. I usually color my images with either the Zig markers or with the archival inks. But today I actually used Copic markers to color my camper. And if you are a Copic color, here are the colors that I used. So I am not going to show you how to color the whole image, but I am going to show you just a couple quick techniques that might help you. So the N7 I pretty much just used for the tire. And this palest pink I used for the curtains and the places where you see kind of the lightest pink, and I'll hold that out for you. Kind of the two curtains was pretty much all I used that for. But for these two, I'm going to show you a technique that'll help you get that kind of shading. Is this the lighter one? So you start at the tip and just flick in like this. And then you come back with your darker color and you add that shading. All right. So then you can go ahead and color the whole thing in. Like I said, I'm not going to do the whole thing for you, but I'm just going to show you how you can create that shading. And that's by coming back with your darker one, and you put the side of your marker down where the edge is, and then just flick forward, and that creates that shading for you. And you do kind of the same thing with your lighter colors, like down here in the body. You can do it this way. It looks like my two colors, I got a little bit darker than what I had used the first time. And then you come in with your darker one. This is what I did the door with. And of course I didn't go over but you see how that creates that shading, and you just keep going over it until that gets lighter. Now to do this one, I did use the 1 and the 3 instead of the 5 and the 7, but it's the same technique. Okay. All right, so you go ahead and color up your camper with whatever medium that you like best. And so now we have our 1 tree by itself, our 3 trees here. And once you put all of your poinsettias together, you'll have 2 smalls, 1 medium, a large, a medium, and then 2 smalls. That's what you're going to need. I have an extra one there, but that's why if you stamp each one of them one time, this is what you'll have. The smallest stamps give you 2 by layering them up, and each of the others just gives you 1 flower. So that's our poinsettias. All right, so the next thing we're going to need to do is get out our shaping mat and our shaping tool. And for our little, what do you call that? Like a swag of holly leaves, and for our little snow piles, we're going to need to give them some shape. So let's go ahead and turn them over. And we're just going to take our stylus and run it along the back side, giving some shape to each one of these. And on our holly spray, we're just going to add some shape there to each of the leaves. And then I like to turn it over and just lightly press down on the berries. Okay, and that will give us all we need for this one. I think those are the only. Now, I use the shaping mold for my leaves and my poinsettias, but if you didn't use the shaping mold, you would go ahead and shape those as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and set some of my leaves over here, and it looks like I did miss a couple of them, so I'm going to go ahead and add some shape. So last week when I did the kitty cat in the window, for that one, I was showing you how if the die is no longer available, some of those stamps, there's still a lot of things you can still do with them, even if the stamp set is no longer, or the die set is no longer available. So today I'm kind of showing you the opposite of that. Even if the stamp is not available, there's still a lot you can do with the die. So Heartfelt Creation carries a product from Ranger that is very similar to my Doc Martens bleed proof white. Now, this is like a shoe polish, but I don't have the one from Ranger, but apparently they do carry one that you may be able to still find. So I'm also going to get the glitter out here. And this is the Rajani Chawla Crystal Clear Glitter. And you know what? I forgot to check to see if this is still available, but this is a fantastic glitter if you can still get your hands on it. I hope somebody else will start carrying it when we can't get it at Heartfelt anymore. But for each of these pieces of snow, I'm going to take my little spatula knife and I'm just going to tap it on there. I'm not going to cover it all up, and then I'm just going to run it through some glitter. And that's just give me some pretty little snow piles. Now, if you decided to go with the snowman, I put snow on him as well. You can kind of see on his body there where I added some snow and along the bottom. But I did this to all of these little snow piles, and I just tapped it on, and then I tapped it into my glitter that's left in the bottom of my tray there. Okay, so one thing with this product, whether you're using the Doc Martens or the Ranger version, you need to wipe your spatula clean and close it up tight if you want it to be able to be used the next time you get it out. You have to close it up tight. All right. Now, these little pieces I'm going to set aside to dry. And I made some earlier that we will use today because they're going to be nice and dry already. Okay. All right. So does that give us all? All right. Now today we're going to need a card base that is 5 by 7. And we're going to go ahead and score the front at 2.5. And we're going to make ourselves an easel card. Is that right? Yeah, 5. So 2.5. Okay. All right. And then we're just going to fold this back like this. There we go. And you know what? I, for some reason, don't have my other piece. So let me go ahead and cut that very quickly. You'll need a second piece that measures 5 by 7. I'll just do that real quick. Sometimes I can think I'm all prepared and then realize, oops, you forgot a piece. So there we go. How's everyone doing today? Can you believe that May has just flown by? I can't believe it's the end of May already. It's like I blinked and May is almost over. So we will add this piece on top. You know what? I was thinking of another card. Somebody give me a thumbs up there. We're not going to need this. That's why it's not in here. Okay. So let me move on here to my paper pad. There it is. We are going to use one sheet of paper. Again, I'm really in a conserve paper kind of mood right now, right? It's from the Festive Winterscape, and we are going to use both sides. Okay. So to create the piece that's going to go right down here, I'm going to cut that from the bottom of this piece right here. So I'm going to need that to measure 2 1/4 by 6 3/4. So I'm going to cut this to 2 1/4. Here's my 2 1/4. Hopefully I got that right. Just going to cut that off. Now, if I just cut it to 6 3/4 right here, I'm going to have these little singers in a place where I don't want them. So I'm going to add like another 1 1/4. I'm going to cut it off about right here. So right about where that walkway is, I'm going to cut that piece off. Now I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to cut it to 6 3/4. So what I've done here is I've made it where I can use this little piece, but in my final design, my camper is going to cover up these little singers. So all you're going to see is the snow and the little trees. Okay, so we can go ahead and apply this piece right here to this section of our card. So the lower half of our front is going to get this piece right here. There we go. Now for the top half, I wanted it to appear as a snowy sky. I believe in my original, I turned it this way, or you can turn it this way. So I think on this one, I'm going to turn it this way. Either side looks like snow. It's just up to you which side you want to use, but I like it that we can get everything we need just from one sheet of paper. All right, and then the final piece, I cut from the other side. Instead of using this side, we're going to use this side, and I'm going to glue it down right inside my card. All right. There we go. I enjoy making scene cards. And this one was very fun. Like I said, I was challenging myself to kind of use some of those dies that are available only in dies. And this is what I came up with. So if we imagine that our camper is about right here, I'm going to arrange my trees one about right here. Ooh, I like the way this one's looking. And then our other two, I'm going to put one about right here. And then this one, we only need the top to show, and I'm going to attach it to the back of my camper. All right, so I'm going to add just a little bit of foam onto the back of this one. Hello, Kirsten from Germany. Yeah, you have to be kind of careful because you don't want your foam to be taller than the half mark of your paper. Okay, so be aware of that. Okay, and for this one, put it right over here. And then, like I said, for this one, I'm going to go ahead and add my foam to the back side here of my camper. And put it right down here. And then I'm going to turn it like this. And we're going to glue our smallest spruce just right about there. Oops, I got him a little crooked. There we go. All right, there we go. Oh, I like that. I'm glad I turned that sky this way. I like it that way. Okay, now to finish decorating the front of our Christmas Happy Camper scene, we're going to bring on some different pieces. So this is where, if you wanted to, you could put a snowman right here. That would be fun. Or you could put a snowman over by the door, or even blocking the door. You could use this. Now, there is a stamps and die set that was from, oh, I can't remember the name of the collection, that had a little Christmas tree. It's the one that had a window and a sled, and the little girl looked in the window, or the little girl and the Christmas tree were inside the window. Remember that set? If you had that, you could make yourself a Christmas tree just like this. But that's no longer available. So if you're new to Heartfelt Creation and you don't have access to that piece, do not think you're thwarted. You can make yourself a Christmas tree with these beautiful spruce dies. We are going to use this piece right here to create ourselves a Christmas tree. Okay, so on the back of each of the leaves, I have put a piece of foam, but I didn't put any foam on the berries. All right, now I did forget to come back around these and add some color, so I'm going to do that real quick. And I'm just coming in with that emerald green and adding a little bit more shading on each of my leaves here. Now I colored these up using the emerald green and the vivid chartreuse and a little bit of the carnation red on the berries. But after I die cut things, I like to come back around and make those edges a little darker. There we go. All right, so to turn this into our Christmas tree, well, thank you, Kirsten. Yes, it is the first Christmas card so far, isn't it? But don't worry, July is coming, and in July there's going to be a lot of Christmas. Let's put it that way. And I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be really nice. So I'm just going to cut this piece apart, kind of cutting off the stems. And we are going to turn this into a Christmas card or a Christmas tree. And pretty much I'm cutting off all the little stems, and I'm just going to be using the berries and the leaves. If there are some of the stems left on there, though, that's okay. It won't matter. Okay. All right, so now we are just going to start at the bottom and arrange our pieces all the way up. Let's see here. I don't like that one right there. We're going to put it up a little higher. I tried to kind of manage where my berries were so they weren't all in the exact same place. But we are going to just turn this into a Christmas tree. And I might go ahead and take that one off. I think I have one little extra, but that's okay. We'll just, oh, two little extras here. Here's another one. Well, we're not going to use those. Okay, so there we go. We have our little Christmas tree, but he's not quite finished. We're going to add a little bit of foam on the back side of him. Let's get the right scissors there. Oh, thank you, Carolyn. You like this idea? So some of you, as you've been shopping here in the last month or so since the announcement, you may have come across items that are sold out where you just have the stamp or you just have the die. And so you just, go right over them saying, oh, I can't use that without the other. But if you think about it, there's lots of ways to use this. In fact, even the poinsettias, if you didn't have the stamp and you just had the die, I'm thinking we can make some beautiful poinsettias and leaves out of just the dies if you didn't have the stamps. And vice versa, if all you have is the stamp and not the die, you can cut them out by hand or use a scan and cut or some other method to cut those out. So I just don't want you to look at those and think that, this is no longer useful to me without both pieces. Now, if both pieces are available, absolutely grab them while you can. But if they're not, don't automatically think that that's no longer a good product to have, because I'm finding that I really like them like that. Aren't those pretty? And we're not even done yet. We're going to jazz those up a little more. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my my glue gun. If I can, there it is. My glue gun kind of leaks, so I have to have this little mat or else it makes a mess all over my table. But to add my poinsettias here on the front, I'm going to use my glue gun. Hopefully I turned that on, not off. There it goes. Okay. So I'm going to put the bigger one right here and then one of the smaller ones right next to it. And then the other ones I'm going to use on the inside. Now, we did make a few presents. So if you wanted to, you could put some presents underneath our Christmas tree here. I thought that might be fun. And I'm just going to glue those on. And I'm putting them a little higher up. You might notice that I didn't put them all the way to the ground, because that I'm going to come back with some of my snow pieces and I'm going to put some of that snow underneath this tree. Now to do that, I'm going to need a little bit of foam tape, because I've popped up my camper and my tree. I need to pop up my snow as well. And I'm just going to slide that under just like that. Ooh, I love this. Now this little one that's shaped like this, I'm actually going to put it on top of the tire as if there's a little hubcap and the snow has collected there on the tire. If any of you are campers or pickup truck drivers, you know how that is, and you live in those wintry states. I grew up south of Chicago, and I certainly know what it's like to live around snow, but I'm really glad I don't anymore. I can just play with it in cards. Okay, and then this one, I'm just going to put that up right over there. And then I'm going to put one more over here by this piece where it's straight. I thought I'd put it right up against that. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm a little bit worried about this little post getting pulled up. So I'm going to pop a piece of foam under there. I probably should have had that done already. There we go. Okay. Yeah, if you're recreating this, you'll want to put a little piece of foam under that one because it's going to put some of these right here on either side of our post. And I think that makes us finished with our, yep. You know what? That needs to go like this. Now, our poinsettia leaves are going to cover that up, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay. We're just going to add our poinsettias in here. And add some leaves. Yeah, I think this will be fine. I just love playing with these things, and kind of no two turn out exactly the same, but I like it that way. Okay, so now that we're to this point, we are going to turn our spruces, our Christmas tree, and give them a pretty snowy look. I don't want to lose my pin that goes in my glue. But I did that the same way we did our snow. I came back to my little thumb. Whoops, that's not the right thing. I just got some on my knife. I'll go ahead and pull out my glitter. And then to do this, I just took my knife and tapped it. You see that? I'm not being exact with it at all. I'm just adding some snow on there by tapping it. So that it looks like it just collected on those leaves naturally. All right. Oh, I think that's so pretty. Now, once I get that on, then I'm going to take my glitter and just sprinkle it over the top. All right. Oh, look at that. It's so fun. I love making these little scenes. Now, if you wanted to, you could add a sentiment of some kind up in here, or, you know, one of the other, you could find a little item that you wanted to. Now, in my original, I also used some lights to go along here, but I totally forgot to make those for this. I didn't even see them up there, but you could add the Christmas lights. But on the inside, we're going to add our little stopper right here. And for today, I'm going to use this pretty Merry Christmas that comes in an older set, and I have it just stamped on one of the dies. And we are going to pop that up, and that is going to become our stopper. All right, there we go. Now, to finish this card off, I'm going to add a couple more flowers on the inside. What to do with them? Here they are. And you can, there's also this other little gift. If you wanted to add that up in here, you could make it look like it's still under the tree. Now, like I said, there's so many other little images in the Heartfelt collection that you could use to create scenes. And I just really encourage you to, shop your stash. And when you're shopping the warehouse clearance, to don't be turned off if one or the other of the pieces are sold out, because there's still just so much fun things that you can do with the stamps and the dies. So look at that. Oh, I just love that. If you have a friend that enjoys camping, this would be a great Christmas card. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and switch our camera back. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today and helping me make this fun happy camper scene card, Christmas card. And I do want to remind you that for the rest of the month of May, which is flying by, if you spend $100 in on the website, you will receive a free paper pad. So I've really been figuring out how I can make the cards with using just one piece of paper and doing things like that. But a free paper pad would just really add to your collection and give you even more time to enjoy using these products. Now, it is also excuse me, today is also the last day for 50% off flower stamens. So that was a short special that just ran from the 22nd to the 26th, but today is the last day for that. So if you are wanting to kind of collect stamens to last you into the future, now is a great time to go over to the website and pick those up. So all right. Well, thanks again for crafting with me today. I do have a new video that launched on my personal website as well. If you have gone there to watch anything and gotten a message that you have to subscribe, that was my mistake. I'm still trying to figure out how to work that kind of thing. So do try again. I'm trying to get that removed, but there is a new video that launched there using the rustic sunflowers. So, all right. I hope you have a lovely day, and I look forward to crafting with you again soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.